Hey there everybody, my name is Keno, and things might look a little different than they did at the end of last video. Now there is a perfectly logical, unlogical explanation for that, and that is, as I believe 2BC Productions coined years ago, EA Voodoo. I lost my save file for not only this series, but the Butte Bandit series. Now, luckily, I'm smart. I've experienced this before in all my offline, and not all my offline modes, in some of my offline modes. And so one of the things that I do, it's just like a fail safe, and I'll do it all the time, is when I make like a major jump. So if I go to the end of a season, if I go to the playoffs, if I go to the draft, whatever, I will create a new file. And now this could be the bane of my existence as well. This could be what's causing the problem. Usually it tells you, hey, can't create a new file, sorry sucker. But I guess what happened here, you know what, I can't even guess what happened here, but I lost 2 save files. Luckily, I had a save file from game 20 of the season, and I just simmed. Now, you guys can tell me, hey, don't really want that, but this is what I decided to do. It literally took me 3 days to decide what to do with this and the Butte Bandit series. The Butte Bandit series didn't have as big of a drop off because I could literally just easily, it was a shorter episode, I was easily able to just redo the trade and redo the draft picks and everything like that. With this one, it was different because games were simmed. We have injuries on, so there were a few differences to the lineup. We did not lose Ryan Reeves because I didn't put him on waivers. I have Noah Gregor on the top line right now just because Tyler Bertuzzi is out with an injury. Kalle Järnkrok's out with another injury, not the severity of the last one. And Ilya Samsonov didn't get re-injured in his first game back, so he's still with the team. But mostly it's Bertuzzi's injury, Reeves still with the team, and Järnkrok not as injured. Now, I kid you not, this team did not do well in my retries. There were times where we went like 9 and like 30, and there were times that we had like a crazy torrid space, and it didn't feel right to like redo it but have the team at like 26 and a 12 or something like that, you know what I mean? So what I decided to do was go with the one that was closest to our record. This one was the closest to our record. Our record was 19-17-4. We are now 20-18-2. So it's actually eerily close to the record. Even Marner has 45 points in 38 games instead of 47 points in 40 games. So just 2 more points, or 2 less points and 2 less games played. It kind of works out. And then Bertuzzi's injury doesn't even have him out that long. He's just out for, I believe, the rest of the week. Or maybe the rest of the week and a half. I'm not sure. I did just call up Steves and Abruzzese. These are the lines as they kind of were at the end of the last video, aside from Gregor being on that top line. And right away, I don't want that. I'd rather him be down lower, so we're going to bump up Steves to that top line and see what happens there. But yes, so this is how it's going to go now. I know it's a bit of a setback. For me, it was a larger setback because I had already gotten past the trade deadline. I'd already gotten to the end of the season. I'd just been recording, because that's sometimes what I do with 5 series currently ongoing, with the Montreal Canadiens series, the Butte Bandit series, the Be a Pro series, this new Toronto Maple Leafs series, and the Toronto Blue Jays series for MLB The Show. I gotta record when I can, and sometimes I'll just do bulk recordings. I don't like to do that because I do like to get feedback. I do like to get comments and stuff. But, you know, sometimes I do what I can. So that's a time where it kind of bit me in the butt. But we're going to get going here. We're not really waste any more time talking about how EA Voodoo has screwed me once again and screwed countless people before. We are currently out of a playoff spot altogether. We are 10 points back of a divisional spot. So it's not looking good for your Toronto Maple Leafs. I did have some suggestions in the comments to move on from some players, and I was really thinking about doing so. It's very odd, but if I'm not mistaken, he's listed as center. David Kampf has a decent bit of value. He's been god awful for us this season. 11 points in 36 games with a -13, playing 13 minutes a night. So if I could move on from him, that'd be great, and I easily probably could. And look, the prospects and picks that I'm being offered are just a little too high for him, in my opinion. Like being able to get Noel Gunler or Dominic Fensori and Gleb Trizikov. Does that make sense to you? 2 second-round picks from the Montreal Canadiens? Seamus Casey from the New Jersey Devils. There's a lot of like great offers here that I should be jumping at. But you gotta think about it, in a guy who's struggling in a fourth line, like third, fourth line position with special teams on a really loaded team with 4 years left and he's already 29. Do you really think teams are gonna be jumping at that with seconds and thirds? It doesn't feel right to move on from him for what teams are offering for him. Do you know what I mean? I also could move on from Noah Gregor, and this is gonna be the opposite thing. There's just no value for him. Maybe a 5th round pick. Is it really worth giving him up for a 5th round pick right now when we could use him for depth in the future? It's confusing. And then as it comes to goalies, we are struggling a bit. We can move on from Murray or Jones, but again, am I going to get anything from Murray? A 7th. Not really worth it, and that's with his contract being $750,000 because I think EA ruled him out of ever returning. And then Martin Jones, again, 6th, 7th. Actually, I don't know if he was ruled a 70 because of that, or maybe I did it. I can't remember. But I had him down low. I don't remember messing with his cap, though. Anyways, back to the point at hand. There's moves to make when it comes to, like, TJ Brody, even possibly moving out Timothy Liljegren. There's calls to move out John Tavares because he's going into the last year of his contract after this one, and we need to re-sign Mitch Marner. You know, there's definite worries that we're cap strapped and we have way too much money allocated to certain players. Like, not saying that Matthews, Marner, and Nylander aren't worth their money, but having all three of them on a team and trying to fit in an $8 million defenseman or a $7.5 million defenseman and then another $11 million forward, you see how it can kind of add up. So yeah, there have been calls to move out John Tavares. I don't know. I don't want to move out Jake McCabe. That's just a no. Even though he's having a decent season, 20 points in 37 games. Like, he's definitely going to bump up in value. Ryan Reeves, I expect this to be a move that I make. Even though he's got 3 years left, I definitely think we're going to move on from him. Mark Giordano, I don't think I'm going to move on from him just because I don't really need to. Rather keep him for depth. Nick Robertson has been struggling. 3 points in 33 games. Just not good for me. So we're going to make some roster moves right away. I'm going to see what I can do with the lineup. And if it does necessitate a trade, and if it does end up with me needing to make a trade, then I'll do so. But let me quickly take a look at the lines and see what I can do. Alright, and these are the lines as I currently have them. I saw a comment about just like running with depth for the bottom 6 and just loading up the top 6, and that's what I've really decided to do. It'll get a little harder when Bertuzzi gets back. I don't know if Domi or Nyes will be knocked down to that third line, but currently I've called up Kiefer Bellows. I know in the real life they don't have him signed to an NHL contract yet, but I feel like that's just something that might happen. But we do have Kiefer Bellows with Alex Steeves and Pontus Holmberg on the new third line, Gregor with Abruzzese and David Kampf on the fourth line, and then Domi, Matthews, Marner for that top line, and Nyes, Tavares, Nylander for that second line. Defensively, I didn't touch anything. I don't know if I will. It seems like that third pair is struggling a bit, so maybe we just do something as simple as that. Giordano and Benoit and McCabe and Liljegren. Could be as simple as that. We got to see what happens. Brody and Riley are doing pretty decently on that top pair. We're going to go with the second line starting, so McCabe and Liljegren are going to get the start, and we're going to see if Giordano starts doing better with Benoit, then it's Liljegren, especially if Liljegren starts bringing down McCabe and his production or his plus minus. Again, I'll say it 1,000 times. I've said it before and I'll say it now. Plus minus is not a good metric in order to judge a player's defensive abilities in the real life, but in EA Sports NHL, it's really all we have to really judge them on, unless you look at their stick checking, such as their like their giveaways and takeaways. Anyways, we're gonna go with head coach preferred line here down in the AHL. I don't think we're really missing anybody from the lineup, and we're not, aside from Hildeby, so we're gonna put Hildeby instead of Murray here because Jones is actually playing. So we're gonna go Hildeby and Jones for the AHL goalies, and that'll be it for all the changes we make. We do have Robertson here, so we have some prospects that I want to get developed. So I'm going to do my normal cheaty little thing here that I do where I double shift certain players. So we're going to double shift Robertson, I'm going to double shift Fraser Minton, and then we're going to find a left winger, and that's probably going to be Braden Kressler. Is he not even a left winger? He's probably a right-handed. He's a right-handed player. Yeah, let's do Braden Kressler anyways. So we'll do Robertson, Kressler, Minton. Robertson, Minton, Kressler on that fourth line as well. And I know it seems a little cheaty, but that's just what I do. And then Savoy, or not Savoy. I saw Sova and Lejoie and Savoy. Lejoie and Timmins, Sova and Klingberg, Hellickson and Villeneuve. So, it's looking good all around. I mean, maybe we call up Klingberg? It seems weird, but nah, he's done for the season in real life. I just want to kind of keep it that. I don't think Murray's done for the season, but he's probably done for our season. So we'll see here. We're going to go to this game 41 here, the halfway mark of the season against the Detroit Red Wings here. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10 games, so we'll see how we do here. We're going to slow sim the first game of the video and the last game of the video and try and quick sim everything in between because I want to make a lot of progress here. All right, first period. And it is 1-0 for the Red Wings. David Perron gets them on the board. It is, shots are 10-8. The score is 1-0 for the Detroit Red Wings. All right, so second period. And Red Wings add another 2 from Kopp and DeBrincat. Shots are 24-21 in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs, but the score currently stands at 3-0 for Detroit. We're going to quick sim this third. Let's see what happens. Can we come back? We do not. Matthews gets a goal on the board for us, but then Lucas Raymond adds the empty netter with 3 seconds to go in the game. We outshot them 40-27, but we could not stop them altogether. So that is 2 losses now. I'm going to quickly switch out Ilya Samsonov and Joe Woll. And again, Joe Woll needs a lot of ice time. I know he's probably listed as a backup goalie, but I want him to develop. And I did expect to kind of lose that game, if I'm being completely honest. Usually when you make roster moves or line changes, I don't know if EA actually accounts for this or what, but the teams definitely seem to struggle. Now Tyler Bertuzzi is back, so I'll make some changes to get him back in the lineup. Alright, so the lines are made. We have Holmberg slotting into the center slot now. Bertuzzi is going to go on the wing. I know he's still injured a bit, so for the time being, I'm going to put Noah Gregor in there, but that's where Bertuzzi is going to go. I don't want him to get re-injured. I want to keep him around. And then we'll have Steves, Abruzzese, and Camp as that fourth line. And I realize we have the fourth line starting. I don't want that. I want that rookie line starting. Bellows, Holmberg, Gregor on that rookie line. And we'll do Gregor in the center for a bit. Once Bertuzzi is fully healed, I'll get him back to lineup, and then we'll see how the team does. I have been thinking about the idea of knocking Nylander back down to that third line, not because he's not doing well, although he's a little struggling compared to where he was in the last sim. But honestly, I just like the 3 lines of scoring. That's my ideal thing to have. So against here against the Edmonton Oilers, we're in game 42 of the season. Gonna quick sim the next probably 15 games or so and see just what happens here against the Oilers. It's a 2-0 win, so good return for Joe Woll against the Calgary Flames here, who are a bit of a middling team on a losing stretch lately. Let's see how we do against them. Now Bertuzzi is fully healed. Then we get him quickly into the lineup. All right, Bertuzzi's back in the lineup now with Bellows and Holmberg on that third line. I'm going to keep Nylander, Tavares, Nyes on that second line. I'm going to keep that top 6 loaded up. The only difference being that Domi is going to be in the top 6 over Bertuzzi. But let's go here. Let's see what happens against the Calgary Flames. We lost 5-2, so not a good look against the Vancouver Canucks here. And it is a 4-3 shootout loss. I'm going to keep Woll in net for the second half of this back-to-back. Let's see if we can bounce back against the Seattle Kraken. Oh, Jake McCabe is now out with a pulled groin until February 1st, so just about a week. We win 4-2 against the Kraken here, but we're going up against a really powerful Winnipeg Jets team. Calle Jarnkrok is fully healed. Let me get him in the lineup. All right, so I have made some changes here. You'll notice the most significant ones being that Nylander is on that third line, and Kampf is as well. I know it might sound insane, but I think the 3 of them together, and Jarnkrok, Kampf, and Nylander starting out, will be a great starting line for us. If I'm wrong, you guys can ostracize me in the comments and see what happens. But up against this Winnipeg Jets here, a really powerful Winnipeg Jets team. Let's see how the team does. I expect them to lose, if I'm being completely honest. I'm a little down and pessimistic about this team, but we'll see. First period. We currently lead 2-1. Bertuzzi and Tavares get goals for us. Niederreiter gets the lone goal for the Winnipeg Jets, and we are pounding them. It is 17-8 for the shot count in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs. Very good start. Second period. Ooh, okay, so Benoit gets a goal. Congratulations to him. But after Velarde and Connor contribute for the Winnipeg Jets, shots are 26-25 in favor of the Jets, so they had a stellar period that period, and the score is currently tied 3-3. Going to third period, I'm going to quick sim this one. Let's see what happens. We come out on top. So Scheifele puts them ahead 4-3, but then Yarncrow, back from injury, gets another one for the Leafs, tying it up. And then Holmberg, now playing on the fourth line with just 2.5 minutes to go in the game, puts the Leafs up 5-4, and that will stand. Shots were 40-36 for the Winnipeg Jets, but the score comes out in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs, 5-4. Very, very good outing. I'm not happy with the amount of goals allowed, but that's still something we can tinker with here. Now, second half of this home and home with the Winnipeg Jets. Let's see. We're in Winnipeg now. We're going to simulate this one as well and see just what happens if we can arc out another win over this really powerful team. No lineup changes made. First period. We do get the 1-0 lead after one. Power play goal from Austin Matthews. Shots are 8 apiece. Score is 1-0 for your Toronto Maple Leafs. Second period. And Lowry gets a goal for the Winnipeg Jets, tying it up. But then Yarncrow again and Lagesson this time get goals for the Leafs. Shots are 22-19 in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs. And the score is currently in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs, 3-1. Very, very good. Solid 2 periods. Better than the last 2 periods. Let's see. Quicks in this third. Will we hold the lead? Third period. And we do. Morgan Barron gets a goal for the Winnipeg Jets, making it 3-2. But then Nyes gets another, and Bertuzzi adds an empty netter. Score ends up 5-2 for your Toronto Maple Leafs. Shots were 34-27 as well in favor of your Leafs. Very good 2 games here. We scored 10 goals on them to their 6. Very solid outing. Jake McCabe's back. Let me make some line changes and I'll be right back with you. All right, so McCabe is back in the lineup now. I just had to wait a few more days until he could get fully healed. He's got 23 points in 42 games, so he's doing really good for us. But we can't actually deny Lagesson came in. He's got 9 points in 23 games and a +3. So he did very well in Jake McCabe's absence there on that second line. Liljegren's still struggling a bit, but not as bad as he was. Giordano is struggling a little more, so it seems like it might be him and Benoit. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to put Lagesson here, and we're going to switch out McCabe and Lagesson. We're going to have Lagesson with Liljegren, and then Giordano with McCabe on that third pair. Riley Brody on that top pair. I'm still not sure about this one. I mean, Riley has 24 points in 44 games, but like imagine these two together. Yeah, let's try to run that. Let's try to see. I know we just won 2 straight games and Wool's been doing very well for us, but I still want to tinker with the lineup. We're 24, 20, and 3 right now. We're kind of climbing back into it. Dakota Mermis is on waivers. Do I want him? A top 6 defender? Yeah, sure, why not? So now we're here at coming into game 48 of the season. We currently stand with 51 points, which is 11 back of a divisional spot. Not looking good for your Leafs unless we can get a wildcard spot, and that we are only 4 points back. So we're going to have to battle this one out, and we shouldn't be battling anything out. We should not be battling any of our seasons out, but we're going to keep going here probably till we're on game 60 or 55 of the season. Let's go. Game 48 against the New York Islanders, and we win there 5-3. Sorry, I got lost for a second there. We win 5-3, so we're on a bit of a heater right now against the Dallas Stars, who are a pretty hot team, also on a really, really good heater. We're going to quick sim this one, because if I slow sim every game, it's going to take forever. Against the Dallas Stars, game 49 of the season, it's a 3-1 win. Okay, picking them up against the Ottawa Senators here, who are also doing really good. We've been facing some really difficult opponents lately. But against the Ottawa Senators, game 50 of the season, what will happen? I am going to slow sim this one because it's a little fun to do it sometimes. So against the Ottawa Senators here, who I think are top of our division, first period. Wow. So Tarasenko, Batherson, and Stützle get goals for the Senators. Shots at 13-11, and I think Wool has already lost his net. Score is 3-0 for the Senators. Second period. It's 5-0. Wool didn't lose the net, and he should have. Tarasenko and Batherson double up. I think this game's over. I'm just going to quick sim it. Yeah, we get one more from Mitch Marner. We get one from Mitch Marner. Shots 34 apiece, but score finishes 5-1. So really, really bad outing there. And Nick Robertson's out in the AHL with a bruised arm, so we're going to replace him. And Tyler Bertuzzi is out with a strained hamstring. Oh, man. Okay, we're going to replace lines. I think it's Gregor going in for him now. I sent McMahon down to the AHL. McCabe and Reeves for 2 seconds is not going to happen. McCabe's not going anywhere. I don't need to. We're up against a middling St. Louis Blues team here, so knowing Leaf logic, we're about to lose this one, but we can only try and see what happens. So here against the Blues, what will happen? I'm slow simming it. First period, and we... Wow! A natural hat trick. Sorry for my wah-wah, but a natural hat trick from Austin Matthews. 2 power play goals. Wow. And then McCabe adds another. It's 4-0 Leafs after 1 period. Shots are 16-10 for your Toronto Maple Leafs. Second period. We add another after Leddy and Gagne get the Blues on the board. It's now 5-2 for your Toronto Maple Leafs, and the shots are 30-22. So we're dominating them. Third period. Quick sim this one. Oh, so they get a few there. Tavares gets a power play goal. Blais and Shen answer for the Blues. And then Camp gets an empty netter, but not enough because Liljegren adds the 8th goal on Binnington after he's returned to net. Shots finished 46-31. Score finished 8-4 for your Toronto Maple Leafs. What an astounding response for last game. And now Lagerson's out with back spasms, so we're going to replace him with Benoit. I don't really want to make line changes though. I want to see if Liljegren can kind of run his line. We're doing pretty decently now. I mean, we're only 4 points back of a wild card spot, but not too many points back of the Red Wings in that 3rd position. They went on a bit of a skid there. So if we can keep pressuring. Oh, we're not even 4 points back. We're only 3 points back of a wild card spot. So we can keep pushing here. Game 52 of the season. I'm not going to slow sim this one. We're going to quickly go through it. We're up against a middling Philadelphia Flyers, so obviously they win that one. That's unfortunate. Bertuzzi's back. Let me get him back in the lines. All right, Bertuzzi's back on that second line with Knees and Tavarner up against Knees and Tavares up against the Anaheim Ducks here, who are 21, 25, and 7 through their season so far. So hopefully we eke out a win, but I don't know. And sure enough, we do. 6-5 win. So we allowed a lot of goals. Woll has been struggling a little as of late. Maybe he can get his game back together here against the St. Louis Blues, but even though they were struggling last time, they still lit him up for 4 goals. So let's see. We're gonna quick sim this one this time in St. Louis. Do we win game 54 of the season? Robertson's back in the AHL. Okay, let me edit those quickly. All right, and we win that one 8-5, so we got another 8 goals on them, but once again they lit him up for 5 goals. I don't want to pull him, but he's really struggling. But the team is getting wins, so I don't know what to do. We're only 2 points back of the Panthers for the wildcard spot, 9 points back of the Red Wings still. So they're starting to pick it up again. Okay, let's go here. Game 55 of the season against the Arizona Coyotes. Let's see what happens here. We're gonna slow sim this one because it may be the last one of this video. Let's see. First period. It's 1-1. Cooley gets a power play goal for the Arizona Coyotes, but Marner responds for your Toronto Maple Leafs. Shots are 12-9 in favor of the Coyotes. They're somehow outplaying us when they've been struggling all season. Let's see, second period. They're outplaying us. Shots are 23-19 in favor of the Arizona Coyotes, but Dursey and Boyd add to their lead. It is now 3-1 for the Coyotes. Let's see, can we continue our hot streak? Can we respond and tie it up? Let's see, third period, quick sim. We do! Matthews with a power play goal again, and Nylander gets a goal with under a minute left to go in the game. Shots are 39-25 for the Arizona Coyotes, but the score is currently tied 3-3. We're going to quick sim this overtime period here. Let's go! And we come back to win it. David Kampf with the OT goal. I don't know why he's on the 3-on-3 overtime. It doesn't make sense to me, but he got the winner. I think I've said that already, but he got the winner for us. We're continuing our hot streak, and we're currently in a wild card spot. Holy crap. This team is doing decently. All right, you know what? With that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Matthews with 35 goals in the season. Let's take a look at what everyone's doing for our team currently. Domi on that top line has 28 points in 55 games, so you'd hope for a little more conversion, but it's not too bad. Matthews, as we said, with 35 goals, 33 assists, 68 points in 55 games, and then Mitch Marner with 61 points in 53 games, so he's been pretty good. Plus, there's minuses across the board, though, and I don't really like that for a line that's putting up so much offense. Knies with 37 points in 55 games. I want a little more goal scoring out of him. Maybe I gotta move around some things on the power play. John Tavares, definitely woken up. He's got 51 points in 53 games, doing very good for the Leafs. Bertuzzi with 30 points in 41 games, so very good for us. Very good to have that line producing as well. And Bertuzzi is a plus 15, so he's been doing everything right. Yarncrow on the third line, he's been battling injuries. It seems to have only missed like 15 games or so. He's got 21 points in 40 games, so not too bad for a third liner. Kampf, he's not doing good. He's got 14 points in 58. or 51 games. So we're going to knock him down to that third line again, or fourth line again. Call up Holmberg, who has 20 points in 55 games between the third and fourth line. That's pretty good. Nylander has 51 points in 55 games, so he's gotten his game under his belt. Steve's with 3 points in 15 games, not too bad. Brzezinski with 3 points in 15 games, and as we said, Kampf isn't doing great. Defensively, Riley with 31 points in 52 games. Very, very good response from him. Jake McCabe with 27 points in 50 games. I wish he had 57 points in 50 games. It just wouldn't make sense. Benoit with 11 points in 40 games, and Liljegren with 15 points in 55 games. So the two of them have actually been doing pretty good too. Giordano with 8 points in 47 games, and Brody with 15 points in 55 games. So that third pair isn't even doing too bad. Goalies, Joe Wool with a 903. So he was up to a 911, but we know that he's been dropping off a bit because he's been struggling. He's got 16 wins in 29 games, a 315 goals against average, and 1 shutout on the season. And then Ilya Samsonov, 13 wins in 28 games played, 906 save percentage, and a 298 goals against average, with also another shutout under his belt this season. And then let's see how Lagesson was doing. Yeah, 9 points in 27 games and a +5. So him and Liljegren do pretty well together. This team's not looking too bad, honestly. I don't know of moves we need to make right now. I saw someone online talk about the fact that, you know, if you're deciding whether to sell or buy as the Leafs general manager at this trade deadline, so for Brad Treliving in real life, if he's deciding whether he should be buying or selling with a struggling Toronto Maple Leafs team, there's only one answer, and that's to buy. And I saw this guy say that for every year that you have Matthews locked up to a contract in his prime, you should be buying at the deadline. You should never be selling at the deadline with Matthews signed in his prime or Nylander signed in his prime. So I like that approach, that we should be buying every chance we get. But this team is barely in a wild card spot right now. And you never know. Like, I know it's just in the trade screen here. You never know. We could easily go the next 7 games before the trade deadline, I think it is, and go on like a 2-4-1 in our next 7, or even 2-5 in our next 7. And now we've dropped out of a playoff spot, and we are 32-27-3 on the season. It's not looking good if we just go on a small skid. We should be able to go on a larger skid. Like, look at the Vegas Golden Knights, 34-15-7, and they've been 5-3-2 in their last 10 games. They've been struggling a bit, but it doesn't really reflect that where they stand. They're currently top of their division, only 1 point ahead of the Canucks. They're actually pretty locked in there. I think the Golden Knights, they could play 500 for the rest of the season and still make the playoffs. But you get what I mean. We're not locked in right now. So to buy and to sell assets, like the first round pick in this year's draft, not going anywhere. Sorry, it's just not going anywhere. I don't know who, aside from the real life players like Celebrini, Levchinov. Yeah, it's actually a pretty weak draft, honestly. But like, I don't see myself selling my first round pick because it's deep. If I miss the playoffs, I could have a top 10 pick. If I don't miss the playoffs, I'm still going to get a pretty damn good player here. Ryder Ritchie, Liam Greentree, Adam Juracek, Emil Hemming, Sacha Boisvert, Max Plant, Max Swanson. There's so many players here that I could easily get. Clark Caswell, if we want to go for him again and again and again. Emil Vini. There's so many players here that I could definitely go for. So I don't really want to risk it, especially if we're going to miss the playoffs. Because if we miss the playoffs, I want the ability to get in the top 10 for sure. If we can add an Aaron Kiviharju, a Sam Dickinson, Constant Hellenius, Tanner Howe, any of those guys there, that'd be great. That'd be absolutely great. I know we don't need another superstar forward, so I wouldn't even be looking at that. I'd rather add complementary forwards. Yeah, Cole Eisman might be great. Put him on a line with Matthews and Marner, see what happens. But we don't even know how long Marner's going to be there with the team. I want to keep Marner around, but if he's asking for the sun and the moon, we might not be able to afford him. So it's all going to depend on how these next 7 games go, but those 7 games will be done in the next video. This one's already gone on long enough. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like this video, please leave a like down below. It only lets me know what type of content you want to see more of. And also, quick question, would you guys want to see like a shorter series, like a 1, 2, 3 episode series where it's like rebuilding a certain team in a day, or seeing if this team can make the playoffs with just the players it has on it? They, like, simple challenges that I can do just one-offs of. You guys let me know. I want to hear all the feedback possible. I want to hear everyone's thoughts and feelings about different series that you want to see. Because you know what? I'm just starting. You guys are my best judges of what content to put out. You guys know what you want to see or what you'd be interested in. You say it. I have no creativity. I'll do it. No problem. But thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been a blast, and I'll see you guys as we take this team, this dicey Toronto Maple Leafs team, through the trade deadline.